beginning, as I said, that whether or not is she marriageable? I think she is, because again, but she would have to be. She would have. We're talking about a more average earner because we got fit, feminine, friendly, cooperative, submissive, childless. She ticks the box on a lot of that. She's already in shape. Whether or not she's feminine, we don't know. It's not enough questions about that. The questions that Kendra asked her weren't geared to find out, how feminine she is. Uh, she seems friendly, cooperative. That's questionable because again, with stuff she's brought to the table, made it seem like she wants to be the leader in the relationship. So, cooperative. You know what? She may be cooperative. Submissive? No, we definitely know that's not the case. Welcome back to Money, Marriage, and Media. Today we're looking at Kendra G, Singles Live on YouTube. She made a comment about a guy on my show. He came back to defend himself and he went in. I didn't come here for the gender war, so we've skipped that part. I want to know about this woman, and from the opinion of a husband and a father, I want to see if she is actually marriageable, if she's a good match for some guy out there. That's actually why I watch these shows, because I have a theory that says that most women are marriageable when it comes down to it. The problem is that finding what's a good match, and a lot of times the good match is not who the women see themselves with. But this is why the vetting process becomes so important. So I think that women, black women in particular, have a stigma about them that says that they aren't marriageable. I actually disagree with that. I think that the majority of women are marriageable, but the problem is that women are still terrible at mate selection. So a lot of times they end up picking the wrong men. Want proof of that? Look at the divorce rate and who's filing most of these divorces. It's women, right? They're picking the wrong guys. So you guys know that I often talk about the vetting process being broken in our community. Well, this is a prime example. But again, if most women are marriageable, well, we have to start bringing down that stereotype that they're not. It's just a matter of finding out who the right match is for them. So with that in mind, let's go ahead and see what we got here.
A good sport.
No
Thank you for
problem.
being a good sport.
No problem. No problem.
Now let's get into you.
Okay.
Okay. So, Christy, you're calling us from New England. How old are you
Well,
again?
actually, I'm from Boston, but I live in DC right now.
You live in DC. Okay.
Mhm.
How old are you?
34.
34. You said no kids.
Okay, so she's 34. She looks attractive. She speaks well too. So let's keep going.
What
No,
do you do for a living?
I work in television, so I do guest booking and producing.
Okay. Television
Okay.
producer. What's your zodiac sign?
Scorpio.
Don't care
Scorpio.
about that. Most men
And
don't.
so let's do it. Christy DC, 34, Scorpio, no kids, TV producer. What kind of man you looking for, baby?
I'm looking for a man that he knows what he wants, like he's ready to be in a relationship. A natural born leader, a man that is educated, intelligent, has self awareness, and is very family oriented and has to be a believer as well.
Has to be a believer.
Okay, that doesn't seem too outrageous, but a lot of that stuff is very vague. Because right now, there are lots of guys that meet that criteria. The question then is, okay, well, why are you single at 34? It could be a number of reasons. It could be that she was, sold that dream of, your career needs to come first, and you can't build a career and, get married and have a family all at the same time. I don't know, but I'm hoping Kendra asks her some questions that are going to peel back some layers here.
As well. Okay.
Yeah.
Did he have kids?
Preferably no.
Okay.
Preferably
No kids.
Okay.
You're 34. What's the age range you would date?
no. 32 to 40.
32 to 40.
Oh,
Does he
32
have
to 45. 45.
45? 32 to
Yeah.
45. Does he have to look a certain way?
Yeah, he has to take care of himself, be physically in shape, have some endurance. Doesn't have to be very tall, preferably at least 6 feet. I don't have a problem finding dating men that height though. I usually come across them a lot. So, but preferably 6 feet. Go to the gym.
Okay, well, wait a minute. She's saying that preferably 6 feet tall. We can already see where this is going because she mentioned there were some other telltale signs, and when she was talking about the type of man she was looking for, but maybe she's tall too. The in shape thing I get is because she looks like she may be in shape. We'll find out in a few minutes, I assume. But it's getting borderline because the 6 feet tall thing is like, okay, you top 10, 15% of men now. I mean, that might necessarily, maybe she has other things that she's looking for or other things that she's willing to compromise on. So we'll see.
Take good care of yourself, are aware of what you eat, put in your mouth, and things like that.
Health is important. Got it.
Does he got to make a certain amount of money?
As long as he does well for himself, is able to take care of what he needs. And
what does that mean?
Anything that I may need.
Well, girl, you don't have to give me a number, but there's a lot of men that can take care of themselves that make $40,000 a year. Would you date that guy?
I would go on a date with him.
Not long term.
So yeah,
probably not.
So she's not looking for that guy then.
At least let's just say 80.
At least 80. Do you want to be in?
Again, with these expectations, right? He's got to make $80K a year, which means that he's in the top 20% of earners, 6 feet tall. If those are your standards, that's your standards. But I'm interested to see how she's going to balance that. There's nothing wrong with one of those things. I mean, because this is a top. She don't want necessarily a high value man, but it's close. But again, if you can balance, ladies, if you can balance that out, then there's nothing wrong with that. I have my suspicions though. And I'm starting to suspect that she may have, that with that career, I'm wondering if she went to college because, you know what, let me say my thoughts. We got a lot more video to cover.
In DC?
No, it doesn't have to be in DC.
Okay. Does he have to be black? I got to start asking this question.
You know what? That's the thing too, because people always assume, like when guys meet me, they always assume I date white men. Maybe because I'm from Boston, the way we talk, if you speak a certain way, oh, she likes white men. She doesn't date black men. I prefer black men. Like I'm preferably black men.
You're preferably black men.
Preferably black men, but I have seen some really hot Italians and hot Greek men. So, that's cool.
Okay. So you're open-minded.
If you're Italian or Greek.
You're open-minded, but your preference is black men. Now, do you want to have kids yourself one day?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Okay. Let's do the Kendra Cam again because I had the screen split.
Okay.
So I'm not sure if they got to really see you. Your place looks so nice. I'm very where are you at?
Thank you.
Yes, it looks very nice.
Okay, so she's in shape. Yeah. So
Good.
her wanting a guy who's health conscious makes sense. That's the lifestyle that she's leading.
If you
Now, Kendra just asked her about where she's at. If that's her place, then I kind of get where that makes sense to the type of guy she's looking for. The question is that if you're already living that lifestyle, those men you should have access to them already. And if you're dating, but you're finding that they're not interested in marriage to you, your standards might be too high. No, you may not qualify for the very men that you're looking for whatever reason. We don't have enough information to say, whether she does or not, but, I have my suspicions at this point. So let's get some more information though.
There should be no hate to you. Well, let me tell you why. Because if you said all that you said and you were a guy, you would get nothing but he's a great catch. If you were a 34-year-old man that works in television,
but
had no
men
kids,
and women aren't the same.
This aesthetic in your house.
Yep.
everybody, all the women will be praising you, right?
Yep.
Okay,
So
but
I feel as though as a woman, you should also be praised. You're very well put together, and I
Thank
think
you,
you're
Kendra.
dope.
I appreciate you.
men and
Thank
women
No, I
aren't
think
the
you're really
same.
dope. I do.
We don't we don't look
So
for the same things.
when was your last relationship?
you. Ooh, my last like serious relationship was probably like 4 years ago.
4 years ago.
Four
Okay,
years ago.
Uh
4 years
huh.
ago. You don't have to answer, but I'm gonna ask. When's the last time you was intimate with someone?
Don't
I'm
answer.
gonna pass on that one.
Okay, no worries.
Good. Don't
What are
answer
three
that.
flaws you
It's
think you have to work
unladylike.
on?
Great question.
I'm impatient.
Okay.
Um, I sometimes can overanalyze things that I should not be overanalyzing. I get in my head too much, and I'm a little too overly clean. I think I have OCD. I already self-diagnosed myself. I do. I literally like clean my kitchen like 5 times a day. Like it's weird, but I'm trying to cool out on that. I'm trying, I'll washing dishes, wiping my sink down. I do it a lot during the day. Like when I'm
Obsessive.
home, I do it a lot. So I
Okay.
gotta kind of ease out
I
of
Yeah.
it.
mean, you're
Well, she mentioned something. When she's at home, she does that. But with her career, I would question, okay, how often are you at home? Now, the whole over analyzing things and the first flaw that she mentioned, that's typical of somebody who is invested a lot into their career, which might, I don't assume, I can't say that for certain that's what she's doing, but that would also explain why, she hadn't had a relationship in 4 years. Last time relationship she had was she was 30. My question would be, because she's focusing on her career, there may be a bad breakup there, and she decided to dive into her work. My question is, how long was that relationship? And if she's looking to get married, why didn't that work? Because you're 4 years older now, and she's saying she wants kids. So I don't know, something's going on here, and we haven't heard. We need more information.
your house looks clean, so like
I
I
don't
mean,
want
your
to.
background looks nice.
I don't want
Uh,
to scare anybody.
I think I hear all the time that people don't like messy houses. So,
Yeah.
now, why would a guy be lucky to be with you?
I can lift you up in many different ways. If you're ever feel, you will never feel down with me. I can take care of you in many ways. I'm a very cultured girl. I can put you on to a lot of amazing different. I'm Nigerian American, so my parents are from Nigeria. So I can put you on to my culture. It can be very spicy in a good way. You'll always feel amazing around me, and I have resources. So if you're looking for something, job, career, I can probably help you out with that.
Uh,
Okay, okay.
Or looking to
And
advance what you're
you're
doing.
looking
Let me
to
well, wait a
advance.
give you
minute.
that. You're right.
Wait a minute. That's not exactly. I'm trying to work this out here because she's looking for a guy who's making $80,000 a year. So exactly, what does a man like that want with her resources? Let's back up here because she's living in a major urban city, DC, and cost of living is higher than majority of the country. So, I haven't looked up the incomes for DC, and like that was last year I was doing that. But something's sounding off here, because this may be we may have found why she's single. I don't think this woman has much knowledge of the male experience. Just from the things that she's offering, why she's saying the guy would be lucky to be with her. That the stuff she mentioned would apply to somebody who doesn't have a career. Good connections. I can introduce you to my culture, but I mean, what if she's with an? How does that work out with somebody who's already in her culture? Again, if who is, and that brings up the question: who's the Nigerian in her family? Is it her mom or her dad? There's something else going on here. We haven't, there's something missing because some of this stuff's not adding up. I have some more questions that I'm gonna reserve till we get some more information because something is off here.
What's the age range you would like to date, Christy?
Um, 32 to 44.
32. Oh, you told me that. That's my fault. All
Yes,
right.
that's
And
okay.
you are a Scorpio. This is Chrissy, DC. Does the guy, you said he doesn't have to be in DC, or does he
No,
have to be? He doesn't. So you're
doesn't
willing,
have
so
to
you
be.
will relocate.
I'm not going to relocate. I'm
So
not
he would
going to
have
be.
to come to DC.
It can come to
Yeah.
DC, but I will
Yeah.
say this, Kendra. Like I've done some
I
long
was.
distance. I was dating an attorney one time who lived in another city and
Don't
stuff
do
like
it.
that. I mean, we still talk and things like that, but I'm looking for someone who is like ready, ready. So, I
Yeah, I was gonna ask that about that question because I've heard her say that before. I've heard her ask women that before, and they always say no, he doesn't have to live here. Ladies, when you answer that question, that means that you're willing to move. It doesn't mean, oh yeah, well the guy can move here. No, that's not how that works. Especially if you're looking for a guy to be the head of the household. If he's moving for you, that immediately puts you in the leadership role. So you'd have to be that would you'd have to offer a lot to provide balance to that relationship. So I don't know how. Again, more questions. Let's keep going.
feel like Black women that are successful, like you said, people are not really like so gung ho about it as much as when they see like Black men who are doing their thing. And that's cool too. That's
Well,
okay.
the opposite is this though. The black, some, not all,
Men and
but
women are different.
men in general, right? So, like I said, if you were a guy, let's just say if you were a guy, right? Your requirements and money might not be as important as in a woman if he wanted to have children. So he almost might want the opposite, like all the attributes that you feel as though make you more valuable, it might not fit for him because
Right.
someone in your position might want a woman who may not be as ambitious, may just want to be home, have children, and fit into his life. And there's nothing wrong with that if that happens. And he's also probably agreeing to pay all the bills.
Right.
So the challenge becomes when and I was saying, and like, my show is mostly black women. I'm a black woman, so this is what I'm with a lot. They have all those attributes, but then their requirement is a man that makes either more or the same. And
Right.
at times, and then I mean, again, there are some men that really do appreciate a woman that is just as successful as them, but sometimes it becomes a challenge because the guy that you desire might just want something different.
Right.
And I think that's the challenge at times.
The
Okay, I'm gonna give Kendra a shout out on this one because that was a very polite way of putting that the men that you want don't want you. I wasn't gonna say that yet because again, like I said, there are some questions that I'm still looking for some answers to because something's not adding up. That's what it seems like though. I mean, she said it, not me, because again, what are we looking at? This woman's 34, right? She's got some high standards, as she should though, because she's up there in income. I get it. You want to date somebody who's on the same socioeconomic status, if not better. But you, it's not only do you have socioeconomic requirements that are high end, you also want him to be tall too. I mean, I'm wondering because that is her. It's looking like her lifestyle again. You haven't had a relationship. You haven't been in a relationship in 4 years, so I applaud her for the fact that I'm assuming she wants to get married, and she's not going to take anybody serious that's not trying to get married. That makes sense. The question then becomes: is that at what point do you say, okay, you know what, the men that I want, I might need to start widening. I might need to start lifting some of these restrictions here because the men that fit it, they're not trying to marry me. Self-evaluation is it may be too soon to say that though, because there might be something else that she can provide that's going to balance those attributes that she's looking for. We haven't heard enough yet. I mean, we haven't heard anything yet that's going to do that, but I'm hoping that something else comes up here, because if not,
type of man I'm looking for is a man that is not intimidated by women, not intimidated by a woman that is sociable and has a career that forces her to have to interact with different types of people. I want a man that has a backbone, a man that doesn't mind, sometimes being like taking a step back and let his woman shine, because I will step back and let you shine as well. So I want a man that is not intimidated. A lot of men, they don't like to admit it, but they are intimidated by women, like, certain women who are very ambitious.
And there it is.
Certain women that are very ambitious. All
there
right.
it is.
So, Christy, let's do it. How can the guy reach out to you?
Okay, it's my Instagram. I'm sorry I don't have it on screen, Kendra. I'm sorry, but it's I as
We
in
have a
ice
lot of
cream
time left, so
underscore AMM she SHE underscore on Instagram.
Okay.
And
Are you
just
an
to
only
let
child?
no, I have oh no, I have a twin sister
Okay.
and I have three brothers.
3 brothers. Okay.
Hmm.
Okay. All right, Christy. So you keep me posted how it goes, boo.
I will. Thank you so much, Kendra.
Thank you so much for coming on. Keep me
Bye.
posted, baby. All
okay.
right.
That looks like that was it for that. You know what? It looks like Kendra's gonna talk about some more. I'm interested to see what she says about this woman. She don't say anything. Then we're just gonna end it here, and I'm gonna go over my final thoughts.
All right, she's gone. Let me say this. I saw what the comments were saying, and there were comments that were telling me to ask her if she was a trans. I was not asking her that. I do not
That's
believe
crazy.
she was a trans. I believe she was born a woman with a vagina. No disrespect to trans people, because I know trans people say that they are women as well, right? But just to be clear, I do not think she was born a man and decided to become a woman. And I think some of y'all really, like, goddamn, like, I don't. Some of y'all sometimes really disappoint me, because if I get a black woman on the show that got 6 kids, 5 baby daddies, y'all talk about her up and down. We don't got no quality women. There ain't no quality black women in this world. This show always just showing unquality women and then we get a woman who you really can't say shit about. Pretty, attractive, nice home,
Uh,
no kids, decent job, and now she got to be more than a motherfucking man.
okay, I agree with that statement. I'm glad I wasn't seeing the comments in here because that's crazy. Like, what does that have to do with anything? And what you guys don't see, what I haven't shown in this recording, is the guy who was on here before. You can see him down there in the preview, right? He was that's something that he was saying. So, and that was after she said that she wouldn't be with him. She rejected him. So I'm thinking that, yeah, he got kind of salty. Whether or not his claims are valid, I don't really care. Because, again, if the woman's not interested, you just move on to the next one. But my whole thing is this. This woman, I wish Kendra would have asked her some better questions, because I think there was a lot there. I think what happened is that Kendra, she may have been looking at herself and decided that, oh, okay, well, this is makes sure she's a great candidate. Great candidate for who? Now, is she marriageable? That's questionable. To the guy that she's looking for, currently, I don't think so. Because this woman displayed that she has very little knowledge. You know what? Let's get her back on the screen so I can see this. This woman, she has very little knowledge of the male experience. Because if I had to guess, and I'm assuming that she's college educated, she wants a man that she can build with. Hence this is why one of the things that I was saying didn't add up is because, again, you don't have any kids and you prefer a man who doesn't have kids, and he has he's to make a certain amount of money, right? Usually women say that when they're looking to build with a man. But the question then becomes, if that's the case, you probably missed that man when you were in college. So this is another case. This might be another case of you already met your husband and you blew it. We could have found that out about a little with some questions about, her previous relationship, which was 4 years ago when she was 30. Like, why didn't it work out with him? But like I said, I think Kendra saw herself in this woman, and that's why she wasn't really trying to get peel back the layers on this one. It's either that or she was just trying to get the show over with. But I think that at her age, the man she's looking to marry, he probably makes about $40,000 a year. And she's got to get over herself. This whole intimidation thing, It gets a little confusing because I'm still trying to figure out why women say that. Was it just most men are intimidated by you? Okay, well, if you're offering, I don't think it's more intimidation. I just think that the guy is it intimidation? No, I just think that when the role that she's portraying herself to fulfill in a relationship gets ambiguous as far as who's going to do what. Now, most men will shy away from that because it gets confusing. And because she's looking for a relationship where you're going to have to redefine the roles. Remember what she talked about as far as why a guy would be lucky to have with her. I've got resources and I've got connections that are going to help you out. I can introduce you to my culture. She's talking like she's going to be leading the relationship. Now, if a man is making, let's say he's making $40,000 or $50,000 a year, because she lives in DC, so it's probably closer. The average income is probably closer to 60, right? Okay. To me, that makes sense if the guy's making the average income or average earner, because again, what does she talk about? Well, he's got to be up to letting me shine. Okay, well, the guy who's making the average income would do that because again, your career is as what it is. Yeah, that makes sense because you guys are you're in a position where you don't need his resources. So as long as he can take care of himself. I just realized I don't know how I missed that. If you're a high earner, and I've said this before, which is I'm a little mad at myself. I'm a little disappointed in myself. And then the man she should be looking for is a man he may not be a high earner. Money shouldn't be as relevant as long as he can take care of himself. The man she's looking for is a man who leads with a dime. Self-discipline, integrity, morals, and ethics. As long as he can take care of himself, why does it matter how much money he makes? She's already doing well for herself. She's already well-to-do. That she can take care of herself. So when you have two people that can take care of themselves, what probably needs to happen is that they're going to have to redefine the roles and come up with a financial game plan as to what to do with their money. That's going to be significantly important, and she should 100% get a prenup. Because that'll eliminate the need for him to be a high earner. A lot of times women want their man to make more because they don't want to share their resources. And that's understandable. Get a prenup. And then that becomes less relevant. Then all you have to do is worry about this, he's over 6 feet tall, which 90% of women want, probably 95%, right? So how are you competing with with the rest of all these women out here who are looking for the same man? And especially when you want him to be monogamous, you want him to marry you. That becomes questionable. In the beginning, as I said, that whether or not, is she marriageable? I think she is, because again, but we're talking about a more average earner because we got fit, feminine, friendly, cooperative, submissive, childless. She ticks the box on a lot of that. She's already in shape. Whether or not she's feminine, we don't know. There's not enough questions about that. The questions that Kendra asked her weren't geared to find out, how feminine she is. She seems friendly, cooperative. That's questionable because again, the stuff she's brought to the table made it seem like she wants to be the leader in the relationship. So, cooperative. You know what? She may be cooperative. Submissive? No, we definitely know that's not the case. But cooperative? Maybe. She may be willing to work with a man. But you know what? She did say that. I would say she's cooperative on some level. Because again, she's saying that, well, we can take turns, shining and going after career stuff. Like that, believe it or not, that is cooperative. You just have to be willing to work with her. As long as you're willing to work with her in those confines and she's okay with that. So yeah, that is cooperative. And she doesn't have any kids. So I think she ticks enough of the box that she could be marriageable to an average man. The question is whether or not that she would date one or marry one. And it doesn't seem like it. So, that may be something that she's willing to compromise on. Given her level of attractiveness, an average earner, you're an average guy and you think she's attractive. I often talk about what happens when average men date above average looking women. this is one of those. This is one of those things. She's 34. You might have. It might be another 2 years, and there has to be a compromise on that. Like I said, the average man will take 3 to 4 out of the 6. So I think she qualifies. The question is, and I've said this before, I'm starting to ramble on y'all. So we're going to go ahead and end this one. The question is, would she be willing to work with a man who brings a little bit less income wise? Especially if, man, well, I don't know. We're going to leave it there though. Definitely interesting conversation. If you guys, if you disagree with me, leave it in the comments. Guys, I'm going to say ghost to the next time. Peace.